Hello, everyone. My name is Gil Penalosa, and this is Cities for Everyone, the webinar, where every other Tuesday I invite fascinating people to share their stories, their knowledge, their experiences, so that all of us can become better, passionate advocates on what? On whatever you want, as long as it's focused on creating cities that are equitable, sustainable, playful. Originally, I'm from Bogota, Colombia, but now I've been living in Toronto, Canada for the last 26 years. And 20 years ago, I created a nonprofit 880 Cities. And I've been fortunate to have worked in over 350 cities all over the world. And this webinar is a way of giving back, inviting people that I have met, like today, Mayor Linda Buchanan. She's amazing. When I met her, she was City Councillor of North Vancouver. And even since then, I said, what is your goal? And she said, to create the healthiest small city in the world. And she's moving in that direction because just a few months ago, her City of North Vancouver was chosen by the Globe and Mail as the most livable city in Canada. Mayor Buchanan, welcome. Hello, Mayor. How are you?
Hello, Gil. Thank you very much. I'm great.
It's so exciting to have you, and it's so nice that we have had a few mayors as guests. And like when we have Reykjavik, the capital of Iceland, the mayor also came from public health. So it's really, really exciting. And the first time that we met more than 10 years ago, I remember you were saying, you were still a councillor, not really, not mayor yet, but you said, I want to make North Vancouver the healthiest small city. Hey, people, guests, listen, she didn't say the healthiest small city in British Columbia, not even in Canada. She said in the world. And I love that because we need to be ambitious. We need to be bold. Sometimes we benchmark with cities that are worse than us so that we feel good, but eventually we end up looking like those. But when we say, I want to be the healthiest small city in the world, that's bold, that's ambitious, and that also is inspirational. The citizens want to be part of it. The city staff want to be part of it. So and you are certainly moving in that direction. The Globe and Mail, every year they evaluate all of the cities in Canada, small and large. And they, last year in December, a few months ago, they chose the City of North Vancouver as the most livable city in Canada. So congratulations, Mayor, and congratulations to all elected officials and the city staff and the citizens, all of the residents of North Vancouver. So welcome. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about a healthy city for all people.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Gil, for that warm welcome. And yes, we met, I remember, February 12th, February 2012 in Windsor, Ontario. I came to an FCM Sustainable Conference and you were presenting. And you were presenting a lot about cities and the impact they have on health. So you and I had a connection right out of the gate. Good morning, everyone. I see that we've got people from all across Canada, the United States, and beyond. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this morning. Just a little context. My background is public health. I was a public health nurse for over 30 years. So spent a lot of time in community development, public policy, and really focusing on the health of children and families and certainly communities. And just a little context before I dive in. I am in the City of North Vancouver, and we are on the north side, the North Shore of Vancouver proper. We're a population of about 65,000, and we are a city of 12 square kilometers. So we are small, but we're pretty mighty. And we are surrounded on the North Shore by two other municipalities, and then the District of North Vancouver and the District of West Vancouver, and then two Indigenous governments, the Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh. So I want to really thank you again for being here today and inviting Gil for inviting me to share some of our successes in the City of North Vancouver. And I emphasize our deliberately because the progress we really envision for our city is a collaborative endeavor that extends far beyond the confines of City Hall it is really through a collective effort that we can really propel our city into a brighter future. So, as I said, we're on the North Shore with 2 Indigenous governments, and I would like to begin in a good way and acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. These nations remain deeply committed to their lands and waters, and as we build community, it's really important that we honor that this has been their home since time immemorial. And I really thank these nations for sharing their lands with us. On the North Shore, we work very collaboratively, certainly the city does, but we collaborate on many, many shared partnerships with both nations, which makes us much stronger when we work together. So in 2020, it was actually 2018, I will start when I first became mayor. I put forth the vision of being the healthiest small city. And actually, Gil, it was a conversation you and I had because I said this is the direction I wanted to go. And it was you who actually said, you know, you have to put a high benchmark. So I went with the healthiest small city in the world. And that was the first strategic plan that a council had adopted in the City of North Vancouver. So we were really putting our mark on where we wanted. Of course, we have an official community plan, but we wanted to put our mark on where we wanted to bend the curve over our 4-year term. In 2022 or 23, we updated that strategic plan, and it really guides our path forward and shows where we plan to take the community again over this term. So as a council, we're really focused on building a really resilient, welcoming, vibrant, and connected and prosperous city for all, as you can see on the slide. These are our strategic priorities and that we know will advance our vision of becoming the healthiest small city. Health, you know, for anyone who's on, who works in cities or has a background in health, we know that health touches every aspect of our lives. And I believe the pandemic made this very clear to people in a new way. But the intersectional nature of health is why we have put it at the center of our agenda. A healthy community means a robust economy. It means a low carbon environment, thriving families and seniors. And a healthy city is so much more than the health of one individual. It's really about the state of our shared social ecosystem. So strong fiscal responsibility, equity, reconciliation, and good governance guide our decision-making as we look at implementing specific policies and delivering new infrastructure within our identified areas of focus. So in addition to these values, we are guided by a series of new strategies that have been in development over the past several years. Chief among these are our new well-being strategy, our climate and environment strategy, mobility strategy, and the economic development strategy. And I will share you the finite details and actions within each of these documents, but I will say this, together, these strategies represent a massive change in how we plan and govern our city. Council has prioritized putting in place a new framework that modernizes our municipality beyond our day-to-day operations and essential service provisions. These strategies really help us to be a true 21st century municipality, and they were designed to interact with one another and break down silos that have long existed within the municipal governance model. And this may be very intuitive to us and many of us today, but the truth is that this isn't really, this is a new systems approach for local government. Building, Tamara, I don't know if there's that slide, thank you. Building a resilient, sustainable, engaged communities requires strategic foresight and the ability to identify signals of change and assess global shifts. And I think we can all agree that we are in a almost daily period of time where we are assessing and shifting with what's going on globally. So in terms of some of the pieces that we're putting in place, the new Harry Jerome Community Recreation Center represents the largest investment in community recreation in our city's history, encompassing over 18,000 18,000 square meters of inclusive, accessible space to promote health and well-being. The project remains, at this point in time, this project remains on budget, which is hard to do these days, but with 90% of the work tendered, and it is anticipated to be completed in the first quarter of 2026. This project was a conversation in our community for over 22 years. And when I became the mayor, we advanced this work, and so it's been in construction over the last 6 years, and so we look forward to the beginning of next year when we can finally open it up. And upon completion, this new center will feature a 500-seat ice arena, expanded aquatic facilities, indoor and outdoor fitness spaces, and a full-size gymnasium, multi-purpose rooms, childcare, and a new skate park. And we do really look forward to opening the doors, as I said, which really will serve as a vibrant social hub for all our residents. And I will just say as well, it is named after Harry Jerome, who was a resident in North Vancouver, but also was an Olympian. So it is named in his honor. So it will also be representing and really pulling together. When I say it will be the social hub, it's really about, as we look to periods of reconciliation, is how do we undo some of the social injustices that happened in previous parts of our history. And, the Jerome family, did not have a good history, did not feel very welcomed at a time when they lived in our community. And so we really want to celebrate Harry and his accomplishments, but also have the community center be part of how we heal and bring people from all different walks of life, and be inclusive and welcoming to all people. In addition, because we are on the traditional territories of the Squamish First Nations, we will be I can't share too much other than to say we will also be celebrating their history and connection to our lands and our nation. So I'm very excited about this project. In addition to that, at the same time, we're putting forth a new Silver Harbor Senior Activity Center. So it is being constructed alongside the community center redevelopment, and it'll replace the original facility that was built in 1973. So it again will be it'll be 2 stories, 21,000 square feet of to continue over 75 diverse programs and services for adults age 55 and above. I guess now I can officially join. And they include programming from woodworking, pottery, choir, tai chi, etc. And with the seniors population being our fastest growing population at this point, this is going to be a new welcome addition in a modern facility. And really both the senior center as well as Harry Jerome Community Recreation Center will be designed. They're both designed with accessibility and inclusivity in mind. They will all feature larger hallways, elevators, flexible program areas, ensuring universal accessibility for all users, regardless of whether it's cognitive, visual, hearing, or physical challenges. And our staff have been working very closely with the Rick Hansen Foundation, and we will be reaching their platinum level for accessibility. Again, within this complex, the City of North Vancouver proudly celebrated the completion of the new lawn bowling clubhouse and greens. This clubhouse and 2 artificial turf greens have provided a modern and accessible space for both recreation and competitive play. With a $2.5 million investment, this facility includes enhanced pedestrian lighting, new public green space, and improved accessibility as well. As a cornerstone of our community for over a century, we celebrated their 100 years last year. The Lawn Bowling Club continues to foster active living and social connection for all, and we're starting to see a lot more younger people want to be involved in this activity. Another piece of social infrastructure we are in the midst of delivering is the North Shore Neighborhood House hub redevelopment. And this is a multi-partner project on city-owned land that supports the city's ongoing commitment to increasing rental housing and community-based services. This hub redevelopment will provide through 3 project phases: rental housing, a new North Shore neighborhood house, which is celebrating its 85th anniversary this year in the city, a respite center with 18 overnight beds and 25 adult daycare beds, and a redesigned Derrick Inman Park, so redesigning the park. So phase 1 right now is under construction, and it features a 6-story building with 89 below market rental units that Catalyst Community Development Society is building and will operate. And then the respite center that's on the podium will be managed. It's being funded and managed by Care BC. And this phase will be completed in the fall of 2025. Phase 2 will include the construction of a new building with 179 rental units through what is the BC Build program. So that is a provincial government program for providing housing for the workforce or missing middle. And then the podium will be the new North Shore neighborhood house that will continue to offer a range of services, community essential services, that childcare, youth and seniors programming, recreation and wellness, food security. Basically, it's prenatal to the end of life. And this phase is anticipated to be completed in 2028. So the BC Builds partnership, really, this was a partnership we brought. It didn't actually exist when the city, when we looked to bring this project together. But this partnership means that these units, these 179 units, will be geared to income to allow people to save for home ownership, and tenants who will be people who currently either work on the North Shore, live on the North Shore, but require, would like to have the ability to save for home ownership. But it's also for people who work on the North Shore, but can't afford to live here. So really, for our council, addressing the need for workforce housing is absolutely pivotal in alleviating congestion and retaining skilled employees. It's something we hear from constantly from our business community, and we are really thrilled to be collaborating with all the partners. This is a very unique, I'd say, a crown jewel in terms of bringing together multiple partners, and I think can be a model that can be replicated elsewhere. It is a one-of-a-kind project for the city, and one that we really changes the way we think about how we can leverage public lands for housing and social infrastructure. So included in social infrastructure, when we look at what's needed for people to live healthy lives and support working families, the city is proud to be advancing the Mahan Park Fieldhouse in partnership with, again, the province and the YMCA. This facility will include a new childcare center, public washrooms, and bookable change rooms that will be ready later this spring. The outdoor area around the south section of the field house will include an open covered space for park programming. This is already an extremely busy park with a track, pickleball, volleyball, splash park, etc. So these pieces all fit together and add even more. And so it'll provide easy access to the track, playground, and then the splash park, as I mentioned. The field house will replace the existing washroom facility that has reached the end of its lifespan. And if there's something I hear about a lot from people is the need for more public washrooms. And this building is really part of the city's ongoing commitment to infrastructure upgrades that enhance our livability. The new childcare center will support 37 infants, toddlers, and preschoolers, and will be operated by the YMCA once it's open. And this initiative is part of the city's childcare action plan that aims to create more than 1,000 new licensed childcare spaces in the community by 2031. And we are, in addition to this, we are really pleased to have the Board of Education be moving forward with a new elementary school within the city on a piece of public land that they own, that they've actually kept for decades, which will now be used to build a new elementary school in an area of growth in our city. And the city will be investing $3.5 million in before and after school childcare. So making it easier for families to have before and after school childcare on public, a publicly owned school makes it easier for families and much easier for children to be able to just stay in one spot from the beginning of their day till the end of their day. So moving on, I am incredibly pleased. I should have said earlier, so just, I obviously am chair of council, the mayor of our city council, but in Metro Vancouver, we're part of the Metro Vancouver region, which is 2.8 million people. And so from a governance perspective, I also we have two regional bodies. I sit on the Metro Vancouver Regional District as a board member, and also on the mayor's council. So one plans the large utilities around water, wastewater treatment, regional growth. And then the mayor's council is for TransLink. So we do regional planning for transportation across the region. So I am very pleased that the mayor's council has officially endorsed bus rapid transit to the North Shore. This will connect to Metrotown, which is an already built out large transportation hub, and it will have a line that will now come to the North Shore all the way across, connecting our 3 municipalities, and it will actually be the first line in British Columbia that will connect 4 Indigenous communities as well, which is really important. And so this has been prioritized as a Tier 1 investment. So one of the things that we work very hard as a mayor's council and as a local government is, making sure that we're advocating to our other levels of government for permanent, predictable investments in transit from senior levels of government to really match the growth that we are being expected to deliver across the country, quite frankly. But in British Columbia, there's a lot of pressure to increase our growth, but we need to have that public transportation investment because we cannot have transit-oriented development without the transit. So, here on the North Shore, I often hear from people that improving transportation is their top concern. And the only way to address our congestion challenges is to deliver a new solution that enables efficient movement for everyone. And BRT routes will move people quickly in high capacity buses that run frequently in transit separated lanes and signal priority at intersections. And, BRT, we have a lot of rapid transit that's above grade, and it's expensive, and the planning cycles are decades long. And Mayor's Council, we've really focused on making sure that we can have buses reaching people at all corners of our region. And bus rapid transit is built in a fraction of the time and a fraction of the cost compared to rail technologies. So we really are thrilled to be a prioritized route, but there is a lot more work to do. And, really this has been a collaborative effort, again, from our 3 local governments, our 2 Indigenous governments, and as well as we have a university on the North Shore. And so they, along with their student union, have been very vocal and big advocates, as well as our industry, folks in industry. So C-SPAN, which is one of our biggest employers that does national shipbuilding, has been a big ally with us in advocating and advancing what we need here on the North Shore. So continuing along the transportation theme and making sure that we have a system that allows people to move in a variety of different ways. Last year, we approved the alignment of the upper levels Greenway. This is an extension of the Green Necklace, which for those who don't know the city, we have a Green Necklace. So it encircles, it is a walking multi-use path that encircles our city. To walk it would take about 1 hour and 15 minutes. To ride your bike, it's probably about a 20-25 minute. But it really is something that was envisioned actually in our city back in the early 1900s and then never was completed. So the final leg was completed just prior to me becoming mayor. So while I was on council, and this new greenway is across the highway, and it'll run east-west and will connect 2 of our neighborhoods on the north side of our city. So when we look around the world and we look at how people are reimagining their neighborhoods, if we look at Boston and New York, where transportation infrastructure, when it was delivered way back in the day, it really divided communities highways are now being looked at and reimagined to put focus back on people rather than the movement of cars, all while creating a valuable park space. So the city has just recently had an RFP close to look at the feasibility of creating an urban land bridge over Highway 1. And for myself, personally, I grew up on the North Shore. I've been born and raised on the North Shore, but I grew up on the north side of the highway. And my neighborhood was single-family homes, small, tight-knit, but really cut off from the rest of my city or my home. And so as a child, we didn't, we didn't really venture out on foot or bike onto the south side of the city. Just wasn't seen to be very safe. The highway was a dangerous divide that really made that trip really impossible. I will say, as an adolescent or a teenager, my high school was on the other side, so we took a lot of risks. We used to run across that highway to get to school. And at that time, it was 4 lanes, and sometimes we timed it right and could get all the way across. Other times, we didn't time it so right, so we used to sit on the cement median while the cars whipped by, and we took our moment when the cars, stopped. At that time, there was lights at 2 ends of that stretch, so we were able to do that. But if my children told me that they did that now today, I wouldn't be so pleased. And certainly it's, I graduated decades ago, and that sort of condition still exists. So we really want to change this and give people a safe and comfortable way to move actively from above the highway to the new Harry Jerome Recreation Center, to the commercial district in Central Lonsdale, and of course to destinations like school for young people. And so covering Highway 1 on even just one block on either side of Lonsdale would both stitch our community back together and create a very new large park in the city that otherwise, our city, as I said, we're 12 square kilometers, but we're really bound by the ocean and the mountains and another municipality. So this would really give us the opportunity to bring our community together. So it would support health and wellness of residents, increasing access to green space, reducing road noise, improving air quality and the quality of life. As well, it would create equal access to safe pedestrian and cycling connections with just short distances to shops and services. And it would do so without people being forced to choose between public open space and transportation infrastructure. This is not, this is literally could be for some people a 4-minute walk from their home across the highway. But right now it is deemed so unsafe. It's one of our highest crash areas that people literally get in their cars for that very short distance that they're trying to get to. So a little bit further to the east of that particular infrastructure that we're looking at, the city is set to be breaking ground this spring on what we call the Casana-Lutet overpass. So that is a new pedestrian and cycling bridge over Highway 1 that will reconnect, again, 2 neighborhoods that are further to the east, but both are part of the city. And this much needed link will provide another safe north-south route, including a secure path for students who go to school, the schools that are on the east side of our city, but they live on, they're coming to the south side, but they live on the north side. And so it is designed for safety and comfort and accessibility. It's going to feature a gradual natural curve. It's got built-in lighting and seating. The structure is going to be visibly really appealing. Hopefully the bottom of it is for those who are traveling by car up the highway will see that they are entering the City of North Vancouver as a welcome. And this really aligns with our long-term transportation plan and mobility strategy, which is really about expanding transportation networks across the city and making sure that they're all connected throughout the city. So this will, again, connect the key routes, including the Green Necklace, the Upper Levels Greenway, and the Midtown Connector, which will move people from the north side to central Lonsdale, because again, we want to move people into our commercial areas as well. So the shipyards, by now, for anybody who's certainly from British Columbia or the Lower Mainland and perhaps across Canada, really recognize the shipyards. This was a plan that, again, was a decade or more in the making, and it's really about utilizing the assets of the pier and the waterfront. And working with the private sector, we created a 365-day destination for residents and visitors alike. And really, it's been named one of the best public spaces in North America. So this was actually an old industrial site. It was a working shipyard, which ended in the early 90s. It sort of had a boom during World War II and was part of delivering the Victory ships for Canada. But now, once that closed, it was really, how can we reimagine this space? And so this 365-day destinations is there no matter the day, the time, the weather. This space is lively and vibrant, and we know that amenities like the shipyards is really what sets our community and our economy apart. And I am very proud to say that we did win an international award, beating out London, England, for redevelopment of a waterfront. So for our small city, that's a pretty big feat, and so something I'm extremely proud about. And so beside the shipyards, to the west lies Waterfront Park, which is one of our largest public parks, and it gives us the opportunity for a similar opportunity to what we've experienced at the shipyards. So in the near future, we will begin master planning, and we'll be considering how we can create a seamless connection between these incredible public spaces that really flow along the waterfront. We have many landowners adjacent to the park, so we're busy as our staff working with, so we have the British Columbia Institute for Technology has space down there, TransLink, there's private property, and then of course the Squamish Nation and the CN Rail. And this really represents an opportunity for us to unite stakeholders in really reimagining and envisioning the possibilities of what we can do next to continue this flow of public space. I have to say, for me personally, this project is super exciting because together, we can extend the success of the shipyards by really creating a dynamic tourist and residential destination that drives economic growth, all while envisioning a new green space and gathering space for people. The sort of connection between the shipyards and this park is the sea bus. So this is part of our public transportation network. It's a 12-minute sea bus ride across the harbor to get to Vancouver proper. And so this is an excellent way. The shipyard sees on any given night through the summer, close to, particularly Friday nights, close to 10,000 people will come and visit us. So this is a really great opportunity to reimagine this space. We have really encouraged our staff to think outside the box and consider as well how this park can be placed where people can actually touch the water. So it's another perfect location for delivering recreation investments, such as a seawater pool or a float sauna. This is ambitious, an ambitious vision, but this ambition is really what sets us apart and has helped us to build this incredible community. Nestled between, as I said, where the sea bus comes in, so in between the shipyards and the park, is ICB, the Insurance Corporation of British Columbia, has their head offices. And sadly, ICBC has announced their intentions to vacate their offices. And while this actually represents, this is significant, a big loss of public sector jobs, it's close to 1,700 people that will be moving. It also, though, signifies, as I said, a very exciting opportunity to reimagine of how we can create job-generating mixed-use development. It could serve as a site for new business headquarters. Personally, for me, I'd like to see a new hotel and provide entertainment options. So really, it's really up to the reimagination. It is a complex site because actually the train actually runs underneath this building, which back in the day really supported the access to the water without having to go over train tracks. But this site now provides some complexity given the fact that it actually literally runs underneath the building. So moving on to our next big project that we're focused on right now is, building on our success of revitalizing Lower Lonsdale. We've identified the Lonsdale Great Street project, which is the development of an integrated plan for our central Lonsdale as a priority action for enhancing economic spaces. So we've hired GEL, and they have a team of people that are working with an interdisciplinary team with our staff, and we are really looking at neighborhood revitalization, which the main focus is on economic and economic development, and really looking at the demographic characteristics of the market and an analysis of the core areas that will drive real estate development in investment in today's world. And this street is one of the most significant commercial backbones on the North Shore. And so it's an active main street. It has public art and placemaking. There's a diversity of pedestrian-oriented retail units, small and medium enterprises at grade, and numerous professional offices on the second floors. In what is already a very densely populated neighborhood, but it is poised for future growth. So this is a neighborhood of significance for the city and the region. It is really the heart, and it is one of the Metro Vancouver region's 7 regional city centers. So it really is designated for a priority location for high density housing and employment. So in particular, for myself, given my background, I'm really pleased to see a strategic focus on growing the life sciences economy. This is a large ecosystem that has grown significantly in the Metro Vancouver region, one of the fastest growing across the country. And so by increasing quality jobs and attracting innovative companies to Central Lonsdale, particularly around the Lionsgate Hospital campus. This is our regional hospital here, really is about focusing on a health innovation, life sciences ecosystem to further diversify our economy from small business as well as new innovative, as I said, innovative tech, life sciences, et cetera. And so it gives us the opportunity to be purposeful and intentional around the development that's happening that will be mixed use, and how do we get ground floor commercial business and housing all incorporated within creating great public spaces in providing the neighborhood that will allow our small businesses and companies to thrive. So, of course, with increasing density, we also want to make sure that we're focusing on our green spaces. So as our community grows, so will our green spaces. And we are looking at this year the addition of 3 new parks. And we will be redoing our park master plan. And our goal is always to ensure that our residents are within a 5-minute walk from any park or public space. And so in Central Lonsdale, through development, we're delivering 2 smaller parks that will be in the neighborhood. And then there's another master plan development down by the waterfront further west called Harborside. And they will be, we'll see an improved Kingsmill park in that area as well. And that will be master planned. That will include shoreline and habitat restoration, mitigations, obviously, for sea level rise, all ages, play zones. And then again, it is connected to what is our Spirit Trail, which is another multi-purpose greenway that runs across 3 municipalities and through both nations. And that's along the waterfront. And then, of course, the much loved off-leash dog area will be much improved in that area as well. So just kind of moving into the last couple, the city has worked very, very hard building a complete and livable community. And my council, we move forward and progress on the shoulders of those that came before us. We have been very much a progressive city for decades. And I think, you know, what we've been able to accomplish despite a global pandemic is nothing short of it's been a big feat, and I give kudos to my staff who've worked extremely hard. We push a lot on making sure we can deliver, and I think for North Vancouverites, you know, we're acutely aware. Excuse me, acutely aware of what we have, the majesty that we have all around, and so too now does the country. Gil mentioned, you know, we were ranked #1 in the Globe and Mail's most livable cities. And that's published in December. The rankings, you know, examine 50 variables spanning 10 categories, such as transportation, amenities, housing, climate resiliency, and long-term livability over the next 25 years. And the City of North Vancouver, as in combination with our neighbors, the District of North Vancouver, together came on top for the first time ever. We're extremely proud of that, and we do work, as I said, very collaboratively with our neighbors to the north. So it is, I think, to be recognized as Canada's most livable city is really a testament to the people who make up our city and the two North Vancouvers. And what is vibrant, connected, and very resilient. So this honor highlights our success in creating a city where life is really truly about quality. You know, we know there's always more work to do, but we'll continue to build a city that puts people first and at the center of our decision making, and it really sets a standard for livability. We really focus on what makes people healthy and happy. And as I always say, I was a previous athlete, and so, you know, it's a lot of hard work to get to #1. That's one metric. You know, sustaining that and moving forward is another. And I will just say, looking ahead, we'll continue to it's going to bring us new challenges, but we'll continue to do this work. I'm excited. I'm very passionate about city building, and really for me, as I said, is really positioning our city to work at the intersection of health and the economy. We will continue to be a community that anyone can call home. I've never really been more optimistic, and we want to make sure that anyone can live here, feel welcome, included. And with that, I probably will end because I see Gil's on. And just really thank you again for participating, and I look forward to any questions. And I will say, if we don't get to your question here, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm always happy to be talking about my city and city building. Thank you.
What would be your call to action? We have people here from Chile, from Paraguay, from Uganda, from Denmark, from France, all over the US, all over Canada. What would your call to action to cities? People here are eager to do things. You come from public health. You have been an amazing mayor. You have a wonderful team. What is your recommendation to the hundreds of people that are connected listening to you?
I would just say, you know, there's always a reason. There's always, you know, the reason to say no. It's quick to say no. It's easy to say no. My philosophy is always, you know, how can we get to a yes? How can we actually bring people to the table? I preface that with, I'm very upfront and with people. So if I think that something's really not going to be doable for whatever reason, you know, I will be real about it and honest about it. But I guess my call to action is always look for, you know, the yes. How can you put people at the, you know, we should always be putting people at the center of our decision making. Who needs to be at the table to make the right decisions? Because local government, we're just one, but, you know, we make decisions, but we also advocate, and we, you know, facilitate, and we convene people. And so my call to action would be, cities are, you know, the heart of everybody. Local government is the closest to the people. So put people first. And my call to action would be, how do you get to yes? Every decision that comes in front of you, how can you get to a yes? And it may not be what you know, they originally, whoever's ever proposing something, has a vision for something. It might be slightly different than what you're thinking, but there is always, in my mind, a path forward to get to a better place that supports people. And at the end of the day, if you always have people at the center of that decision making, then I really actually can't see that you can ever really go wrong.
Thank you, Mayor Buchanan. What a wonderful session. Once again, congratulations for being the #1 most livable city in Canada, and for all your advice, and also how to get to yes. Don't accept no for an answer. Try to find that little crack through the window and run through it. There's too many people that are looking for problems to the solutions. No, be positive. Look for solutions to the problems. Thank you very, very much. And the video of her presentation will be on our website in 2 days, on Thursday. Please share it with other mayors, with other elected officials, with advocates, with the media, with everyone. And also, please sign up 2 weeks from today on placemaking from an expert from the US and an expert from Canada sharing their stories. Mayor Buchanan, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, Gil. Such a pleasure. Thank you, everyone.
Mayor Buchanan, this has been amazing. Thank you. Thank you. So grateful for all of the knowledge that you share. And this is applicable to any city, small or large. If you are from a larger city, think of North Vancouver as a 15-minute city within your large city. Are you as good as North Vancouver? I'm sure that there are lots of examples. I say that every city is different, so it's not about copying and pasting like we do on the computer, but it is about adapting and improving. And you give us so much food for thought on how to have priority the people and health and happiness and creating a city that is really good for all. Thank you very much. And I hope that everyone that watches this video will share it with your elected officials, with city staff, with the media, with advocates. Thank you. And I hope you continue enjoying Cities for Everyone, the webinar.